Hola, fellow survivors! This is Lesson 11, Part 2. This is the lab portion for Lesson 11. Alright, just like we talked about during the lecture portion, I have included two new header files here in my code, the C standard library and C time. Alright, and just like in the previous lab we did, I seed the random number generator. I've taken the current time of my system. I have cast that into an unsigned integer. Unsigned integers can only be positive. Think of it that way. And I've used this value in the srand function, or the seed rand function. Okay, so like I said before, just to review, sometimes it helps if you read this stuff from the inside out. Okay, and then you follow the parentheses, and you'll be okay. I don't want to move that. There we go. I took some code from last lesson. I have an integer named x that's equal to a random number. If I were doing this in an actual production environment, I don't know if I would use the term x or not. It's kind of confusing. Or I might just put a comment out here that says, creates random number or something like that. Alright, this is why I love these single line comments, because you can add stuff like that to your code. And then I have an integer die x modulus 6 plus 1. Alright, and we know from last lesson that that creates a random number between 1 and 6. Now, I have an if statement in here. We went over if statements a few lessons ago. It wasn't that long ago, but we can still look at them again. If die, meaning this right here, equals 1, I have two equal signs here. Remember that we got two equal signs. I'm going to do that for comparison. We use equal for comparison. Alright, if I misspelled comparison, oh well, they'll get over it. So if the die equals 1, it outputs to the screen, you hit them in the head and killed it. Else, meaning if it's not equal to 1, if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, it outputs to the screen, you missed the head, the zombie is still after you. And then it pauses the screen, returns 0, standard stuff we've seen a million times before. Just to review if statements, we do not put a semicolon after the closed parentheses at the line if. We do not put a semicolon here, semicolon here. We have no condition for the else statement. We have no semicolon here and no semicolon here. Now, let me show you something really cool here. I'm going to take out this comment. You can, and it's not recommended that you do this. This is syntactically correct, but it's not. It's just a poor style. Let's put it that way. You can do this number here. Alright, and that is correct. This code will compile. But for style reasons, we like to keep everything on one line here. Alright, and this just makes your code easier to read. I've seen some people that put their open curly brace right there. Alright, and I'm really not a big fan of that either, because then you have to look for it. I just don't like that. So what I do is, let me clean up some of these blank lines here. It's nice to have white space in your code, but not that much. Let's space this out between else too. We're going to make this just look a little more readable. And as you're going through your programs, you want to make, some of your code look a little more readable, because readability is nice. So if I run this, there we go. And it has to run it. There we go. You missed the head. The zombie is still after you. And I could even put, there we go. If I put cout, cout die. And what that's going to do is that's going to output the value of die, so I can kind of check my code out to make sure it's functioning correctly. Or I could have put a breakpoint point in here or something like that, but this is just a little easier to do. So if I run this, I can see that, there we go, the value for die was 3. You missed the head, the zombie is still after you. Run it again. You missed the head, the zombie is still after you. Run it again. Oh, 1! You hit him in the head and killed it. Run it again, missed the head. Run it again, missed the head because we got a 4. Or run it again, missed the head. Sure likes to roll 3s for some reason. 4. 5, here we go. 3. Let's wait a few seconds here, because remember we're seeding the random number generator. 1, we hit him in the head and killed it. 1 more to our body count. 2, you missed the head, the zombie is still after you. Alright, so this code works. We've taken a couple things we've learned about in the last couple lessons. Random numbers. We reviewed the modulus function here to get a random number between a certain range. We've used if statements with our random numbers to see whether we hit the zombie in the head or we missed it and the zombie is still after us to turn us into one of the living dead. We learned how to add other header files to our programs, and this list is going to just keep growing and growing and growing and growing as we talk about other things. The C++ programming language is such that they just don't lump everything into one huge library, because your programs would just be really huge if you did that, and it would take forever to do anything. So what they've done is they have segmented up the library into header files. Right? You got to remember which header files to include. CTime, and the reason we're using CTime is because we are seeding the random number generator, and the C standard library because we are using the things like the rand function and things such as that. Alright, actually we're just using the rand function in this particular program. You can Google these header files and you can see what other functions are contained within them. The documentation is really quite extensive. So when we get to the next lesson, we're going to tackle another problem with our code. Chances are we have more than just one round of ammunition in our weapon. So shouldn't we be able to shoot again, shoot again, shoot again until we're out of ammo? Alright, keep trying to hit him in the head until we're out of ammo. Yes, we are, and in lesson 12, we're going to tackle that problem. We're going to learn about a new tool that we have available to us, and we're going to look at the syntax to do it. Can't wait to see you guys till next lesson. Thanks for watching.